Thanks, Chair. Good morning, Minister. We've been meeting now for 6 months on the issue of road safety, and we'll be publishing a report following these hearings in September. And we've heard a lot of detailed, often very disturbing evidence from experts in this field, but particularly from family members of people who've died due to road fatalities. And the organisations we've heard from, they're very diverse. We've had everything from the cyclists to the road hauliers in with us. But the one common thread, the one point that all these diverse organisations agree on is that they don't have confidence in the Road Safety Authority anymore. They've lost confidence in that organisation. Can you tell me and can you tell these organisations why they are wrong to have lost confidence in the Road Safety Authority?
Yeah, thank you very much. First thing I would say is that yes, there was an Indicon report was done on the workings of the Road Safety Authority. There was they concluded that the Road Safety Authority should be split up. When I came into office, I had a look at the Indicon report. I looked at how we could split it up. I discussed it with my officials, and I came to the conclusion that the quickest way of getting reform was to reform from within. That reform has commenced. At the time when I arrived in there was, for instance, there was waiting time on driving testing of, I think the average national was 27 weeks. It's now down to 11 weeks. It was down to 10 at one stage. That's because we tackled it head on. It was just a demonstration for me that the RSA can do the business, but we need to make sure that they are doing it and are focused on it. There was a depletion in their number of board directors. We have rectified that by appointing 4 new directors, so they're just one shy of full complement right now. The directors that were appointed were of particular skill sets that would be required in the board to help run the RSA. And I do believe that when I've met the board and I have set out for them what reforms I want to see them done from within. And there's a lot in that. And they're to come back to me, I think, next week with their taking on board what I've said.
Thanks, Minister.
I hope to publish what the reforms will be in the coming weeks. It is important to say that, and sorry for hogging this, but it is important to say that the RSA, they have a structure. If we were to dismantle that structure, how long would it take to put something new in place? And that was a concern that I had as well.
But I think the fundamental point that Indicon report set out is you have an organisation doing 2 important but very different things, trying to reduce the carnage on our roads and trying to deal with important issues like driver testing, etc., but things that are very different. And it was that fundamental divergence in the mission of this organisation that Indicon identified. And I suppose my concern is, when I ask you the question, your first point is, oh, we were doing the driver tests more quickly. But fundamentally, what we're concerned about is 190 people dying on our roads last year, 80 people now dying on our roads this year. And I don't think it's good enough that your evidence of reform is quicker. Is shorter waiting times for the driver tests. That's not what our fundamental concern is here. And the reform from inside that you're speaking about isn't dealing with that fundamental issue, that you've an organisation doing 2 different things and clearly, from the evidence of the deaths in our roads, not able to focus on its central mission, which should be saving people's lives.
If I could just answer that. First of all, I think it's important that I point out at the very start that we all have a responsibility in saving lives on our roads. The road users have a responsibility. Everybody who drives a car or gets into a car and drives a car is taking on that responsibility.
But the RSA is the body the state is tasked with this issue, and this is what we're focusing on today, Minister, with respect.
If you let me finish, what I would say to you is that the Road Safety Authority is part of the solution. The general public are part of the solution. But within the RSA, the organisation is there and is capable of doing the education and the front of house and all of the research that needs to be done, because I think that feeds in to the areas such as the driver testing curriculum. All of that feeds into that. The Garda Síochána, the NTA, the investment in our roads, all of that feeds in to reducing numbers. It's not just one organisation that is responsible for reducing road deaths. Everybody has to help. And I, as Minister, chairing the steering group, also have a responsibility to make sure that everybody is working together to do that.
Minister, we're going to be working on our report over the summer, and we'll be listening to your testimony, but also the testimony of all these organisations who, as I have said, are united on one common point, that they don't have confidence in the RSA anymore. If we bring forward strong recommendations to you and Minister O'Brien, asking you to reconsider your decision to scrap the reform plan for the RSA, are you open to reconsidering it?
Well, what I would say, any proposals that come from the committee will be looked at, and I would also hope that the committee would also be open to the reforms that we're going to put in place for the RSA, which will be published in the coming weeks.
And what level of detail will we be seeing in terms of those reports you're publishing in the next number of weeks?
Without preempting the report, we're looking at each facet within the RSA, how they have been doing their business, what changes we make so that they can be managed better, what changes are being made, and a timeline by which they will be introduced.
Will you be proposing legislative changes to the RSA?
At the moment, what we're proposing is they're not legislative changes to the RSA. We are proposing changes and a different focus on some of the works that they are doing.
The national vehicle driver bill that you spoke about in your statement, that will allow local authorities gain data on road traffic collisions in their area. When do you expect that bill to be before the House at second stage?
Well, I would expect, we were hoping that we'd get it in before the summer recess. I understand from the drafting of it that it will be drafted by the summer recess, and we get it into this early in the new session.
So it'll be September, October?
It'll be September, October at the latest. I was hoping that we would get it in, but there has been delays with the drafting with other legislation, and we will have it drafted. We will have it ready to go into the Dáil immediately we come back.
Thank you. Deputy.